한남동 리움미술관에서 지금 난리난 전시가 있습니다. 그런데 이 전시 사진을 검색해보면 전시장 바깥 풍경만 나오고 아무것도 안 나옵니다. 사진 촬영 금지, 영상 촬영 금지, 인스타에 올릴 수 있는 게 하나도 없는 전시가 지금 전시 좋아하는 사람들 사이에서 가장 핫합니다. 작가 이름은 티노 세갈. 이 사람은 그림을 그리지 않습니다. 조각을 만들지도 않습니다. 전시장에 들어가면 작품이 없어요. 대신 사람이 있습니다. 누군가가 노래를 하고 춤을 추고 말을 겁니다. 그게 작품이에요. 왜 이런 작업을 하는지, 이게 도대체 어떻게 예술인 건지 티노 세갈을 직접 만나서 물어봤습니다. 이 인터뷰를 보고 전시에 가시면 완전히 다른 전시가 될 겁니다.
Hi Tino, I'm Jianli. I'm so excited to be speaking with you today. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your time with our audience. Although your artwork has a profound influence on the global artwork, some of our viewers in Korea may be meeting you for the first time through this video. So could you please introduce yourself and share a brief greeting for your Korean fans?
My name is Tino Segal. I make art for exhibitions, but I don't make objects. When you come into the room, into the exhibition space, you will always see a person doing something. Maybe they ask you a question. One of my works, which was shown in Korea in 2008, it's called This is Exchange. Basically, you come into a room, they say, hello, this work is an offer. We offer to pay you half of what you paid to enter the museum if you tell me your opinion on market economy and discuss it with me for a while. And then if you do that, then you get half of your money back, you know? So it's this kind of like, there's always a person which brings you into some kind of situation. Often it's dancing, singing, but there's always the artwork is what the person does.
You have presented your work in Korea before, but this is your first solo show in here at Lium. So how do you feel?
I'm happy. I hope that the Art for You viewers will come, and I think Lium has had a great run recently. No, like I think they've done some great shows. I hope people will come to mine too.
Yeah, and about your work, museums are traditionally filled with objects like painting or sculpture, but your work is completely immaterial, so it could be a surprise for people. So what made you decide to make the art without things?
I mean, my background is more like sustainability, the whole ecological problem. So I thought, well, the problem of our society is that it's producing so much and transforming so many natural resources to the degree that like the atmosphere has trouble kind of getting rid of it. Then at the same time, museums are relatively new in the history of humankind. You know, they're like 200-300 years old. I don't know when the first museum was in Korea, but it's probably not more than 200 years ago. And these places are peculiar places. When I was young, I was like, what kind of place is this where a thing is more important than a human being? Let's say if this was a museum space, I would look at the chair. You know, I would look at something standing here. I wouldn't look at you. The person would be a museum guard. So this relation where things are somehow more in focus than humans, I found that peculiar. And at the same time, I grew up in an industrial society where there was a high importance on things. So I thought, oh, can that be a coincidence that like, as an industrial society, we put such an importance on things. At the same time, we have kind of developed a kind of ritual format, like a kind of temple, the museum, where we focus on things. There cannot be a coincidence, you know? So I thought, let me go in there and celebrate something else, not only things, but can we celebrate dancing, singing, human interaction. So that's the starting point of my work.
You describe your work as constructed situations. Yeah, so for people who are new to this term, how does situation fundamentally differ from the performance art?
The situation is always like, if you think we are in a situation together right now, right? Like you and me. Like the situation puts the emphasis that we are together, right? Whereas performing would be like me doing something, you know, and you looking at me, but it puts the emphasis on me. You know, or let's say you would be performing, dancing, singing something, puts the emphasis on you. So I like the word situation because I was always interested, what are we doing here together? Everybody. Now, if you're more active, like somebody dancing, or if you're more passive, like somebody watching, what is the thing we're doing together? Like even the person watching is is participating in the situation.
Oh.
You know? So for me, that was a better term.
So the interaction is very important.
Yeah, but interaction doesn't only have to be explicit interaction, like talking, can also be beholding, you know, like just being there in the room. Like if I'm like, you know, watching and I'm like, or if I'm watching and I'm like, you know, like it has an influence on the situation.
Then how do you start? I mean, with paintings or sculptures, we can kind of imagine the process from sketch to the final piece. But your work is completely immaterial. So where does it all start? How do you structure it at first time in your head?
Like if you think of video artists, you know, like what are they from their craft? They're filmmakers. They're kind of filmmakers, no? They need a camera person. They need to cut the video. So even if they're artists, like for example, Cyprien Gaillard, who is in the Leum foyer, Leum lobby, he's making a video. So, but his craft is the one of a filmmaker, and it's the same with me. It's no different. Like I'm an artist for exhibitions, like let's say kind of installation artist, but my craft is that of a choreographer or a dancer. It's the same. So I work exactly like a choreographer, but I don't show it on stage. I show it in an exhibition.
I just wondering, how do you prepare for your work? Like some performer artists, they got many rehearsals in a studio.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, you too, yeah.
Depends on the work. Some works we have to rehearse a lot. Some, like This Is So Contemporary, which is shown at the entrance of Leum. I rehearsed it once, like 20 years ago. We tried it out. And then, of course, we have to rehearse it a little bit each time. We hear like 2-3 rehearsals that people know what we're doing, but to develop it was very quick, was like almost in my head, you know? Whereas like this entry, the work from recent work, which is in the main space, of course I needed like 3-4 weeks to develop all the material, all the scenes, try things like a theater rehearsal, exactly the same.
And do you have any rules for them?
Yeah, often the works are like rule-based or game-based, you know? In some way, in more elaborate rule structures or more simple rule structures. Like This Is So Contemporary is like you saying This Is So Contemporary 4 times in different variations. You move from this position to that position. It's all, you dance a little bit how you like, but not fully free. Nonetheless, we tell you a little bit, you know, like so. And some things are very like this entry is very precisely choreographed, how you move your fingers at certain moments, you know, so it depends on the moment, depends on the work.
Since your work is so focused on the live moment, aren't you afraid your work will eventually vanish or be forgotten?
Yes, I mean, but this is true for all choreographers, no? I mean, this is not only true for me. I mean, a painting, it can easily be destroyed, you know? Like a choreography cannot really be destroyed. You cannot go up to the dancer and kind of punch them or something, and that's obviously, you know, nothing which should happen and it won't really happen. But even if it were to happen, it doesn't really damage the work, because the work is what they do and it's not them. Whereas if you punch a painting like a Rembrandt, then painting can be broken and that was it, you know. I also have a small team which goes already now to different places and sets up the work. And so if you don't have a continuity of such a team of people setting up the works, then it becomes difficult, yeah. But if you have, it's also fine.
Yeah, very impressed. Yeah. And you've shown your artwork at the world biggest venues like Tate, the Guggenheim, and even Venice Biennale. With all that experience, is there something special or different you wanted to try specifically here at Leum?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, first of all, the starting point was to interweave my work with the collection a little bit. And of course, it's interesting that, you know, I've never shown a museum where there was a version of Rodin's Kiss. So Leum has, like, my work Kiss references, among other works. Rodin's Kiss literally takes up the position for a short moment and passes through this position. And here at Leum, they have a study of Rodin for the Kiss, you know, so, and they are also shown together. And so that was Sung Won Kim's idea to interweave my work with the collection, to maybe show it as a kind of sculpture, you know, like it's maybe a contemporary kind of sculpture, but it's sculpture also, you know, to show it next to sculpture. So I think that for a solo show, like so many works from the collection is and my work shown together with them is something I haven't really done that much before.
That actually makes me wonder about some practical things, like how does collector buy your work? I mean, what exactly are they paying for?
They're buying the right to show this work forever and also potentially to resell it.
But the difference is that you don't have any papers for...
Yeah, that's a difference. Like I do an oral contract and they do a certificate.
Yeah, so...
But I have also an advantage because I see with other artists' work, sometimes, for example, González Torres, like he used certain light bulbs, but these light bulbs are difficult to get today. In my work, I work with humans. We will, as long as there's humans,
We are having a little bit challenge today because we can't film and take photo. In a world where everyone is always snapping photos, why do you strictly say no photos for your exhibition?
For me, it was important to do a work like artwork in like 4 dimensions, let's say time and the 3 spatial dimensions. So that was my contribution to art. But if you take a photo, you bring it back into 2 dimensions. And then there's a whole also commercial system and a whole habit, let's say, to deal in 2 dimensions. So I could see with the kind of so-called performance art from the 60s, 70s, or also the conceptual art, that like it often became photos of that work. And then later these photos were exhibited. So I thought the way to not have that happen to my work, because my proposition, my artistic proposal is a work in 4 dimensions, just not to do any official photos.
Today, everyone is busy showing off their lives on social media. So what is the power of art that only happens live in the here and now?
But are you busy showing your life on social media?
Honestly, yes.
So what do you show? What do you show?
Just good restaurant, traveling, yeah.
How much of your time does it take per day?
Maybe 8 hours.
8 hours? That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You said you almost cried. Did I understand that correctly? In the work in the garden?
Yeah, I was very touched in the garden.
Let's not spoil it, but do you cry on social media?
No.
So there's your answer.
Yeah.
That's a answer, no? I think that what we feel through a screen and what we feel energetically, energetically the screen is not very rich. Visually, maybe yes, but energetically not. Energetically, the screen is quite dead. Let's say not dead, but let's say low impact. Whereas like an actual conversation, somebody singing at you, or being together with somebody in the moment, or touching something, like that's much more energetically rich.
One last thing before we finish. Do you have a message for Korean fans who are coming to experience your situation at Leum?
If they come to experience the show at Leum, I'm A, very happy, and B, no, I don't have advice for them. No, because that's the most I hope for is that they come. And then, like I said, like it's part of the game. They make up their own opinion about it. They have their own experience, like I don't want to direct that by something I could say now. Like what I'm trying to convey is already in the work, and it's in a particular artistic way, which in my definition means that it's open. I'm creating an opportunity for you to interpret. If you interpret, then I'm happy. What is your interpretation? For me, is less important than that you interpret. If that makes sense. That was maybe a little bit...
That's perfect, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah. It's been a real honor. Yeah.
No, thank you. 감사합니다.
인터뷰가 끝나고 한 가지 부탁을 드렸습니다. 팬으로서 사인을 해주실 수 있겠냐고요. 티노세갈이 웃으면서 매직을 집었습니다. 그리고 사인을 해주시는데 뚜껑을 닫은 채로 하시는 거예요. 종이 위엔 아무것도 남지 않았습니다. 그 순간 소름이 돋았어요. 이 사람은 사인마저도 흔적이 아니라 행위로 남기는 사람이었습니다. 전시장 안에서부터 전시장 밖까지 전부 하나의 작품이었던 거죠. 직접 가보세요. 설명으로는 절대 전해지지 않는 전시입니다.